Hello, welcome to the Arsenal Agenda. This is the Premier League running show. Unfortunately, another miserable Monday, again after a draw to the bottom of the league. Today we're here to discuss the fallout from the weekend's football, the game on Wednesday, and do we still have a chance to win the Premier League title? So, Jord, what's your thoughts on what happened on Friday night?
Bottled the league, didn't we? Absolutely terrible. Let's be honest. Ramsdale, 30-something seconds in. What was he thinking? Zinchenko to blame for the other two goals, so he could come in for some criticism here because the first one, well, they're second, but the first one that he's responsible for, I think personally, he left Walcott with an easy race against Gabriel because he was too busy pressing the midfield. And then also the second one, he just didn't jump, did he, when the ball come in?
No, he was.
And then he stood there like,
behind the ball as well.
Team meeting, like, no, mate, you have to jump.
I mean, me personally, I look at our team and I think we have the quality to win the league personally. But I just don't think we seem to have the nous, Last year we showed snatching fifth from fourth place.
The mentality.
And this year we could well end up with second after being top for most of the season. I mean, in reality, being second to such a great City team at the moment is growth for Arsenal. It is a step forward. Don't get me wrong. I don't not want to win the league. I want to win the league, but there's a process that we're all in here. We're in a rebuild, and we're in a different process now, and I think we lack that killer mentality. Obviously the two games before going 2-up and letting them slip, and then this one just I don't even know how that happened at home. The players are better than that. The players are better than that. I mean, Ramsdale tried to thread it through the eye of a needle when he had three good opportunities on that were clear. I know we like to get that keeper pass into midfield and then they spread it wide. I know that's what we like to do, but when it ain't on, don't force it. And if this game meant nothing, would he have made that pass? Probably not. And that's sort of the difference with the mentality. I mean, we have to do better. I mean, it's nothing really short of a joke from top to lose to bottom of the league. Or not lose, sorry, draw to bottom of the league. And, well, luckily draw to bottom of the league. Obviously, I thought we had a really, really good second half. Attacking wise, getting the game back and you having.
It didn't matter though because we'd already made three sloppy mistakes.
Yeah, and I don't mean to necessarily.
I start playing decent football.
Yeah, I mean I don't necessarily.
Vieira was non-existent. What was he doing on the pitch? Did we not give Chelsea £10 million so that Jorginho, an experienced head, we'd have someone for these scenarios when a Xhaka or a party's out? Like, what?
Couldn't agree with you more. I felt that Fabio Vieira was a passenger in the game. He was
non-existent.
Yeah, he was almost a lost man on that pitch. He was not a help to us on the pitch, and it was a real poor performance from him. I mean, don't get me wrong, he hasn't had a lot of starts, but against bottom of the league, we certainly expect better from a player that we expect more than that. And unfortunately, it was a terrible game from him. I think you're spot on. I think we, after conceding as many goals as we did in the last two games, I think something needed to change, and perhaps maybe having two holding midfielders wouldn't have been a terrible idea. I know it's against bottom of the league, but as you can see, when the nerves are against us, we get shaky, and having that extra holding player might help. So I think that realistically, to play Jorginho alongside Partey is an option, and something
has to be Wednesday. Has to be.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest,
probably Tierney for Zinchenko as well.
My personal belief for Wednesday is I think Shevchenko should play in the middle of the park, and Tierney should play at left back.
That's not a bad shout, actually.
That's what I think. But
That's if Granit's not back.
because you
He
cannot,
only,
the
he only
problem with
missed through illness. Like he could be all right come Wednesday. You don't know.
yeah, but the problem is with Jorginho, and I mean the one reason why I wasn't particularly excited by his signing when we first got him was his lack of mobility, and I think City will take advantage of that. They've got great mobility in midfield as well, and I think that having Jorginho there, that's not the game for him. Might be needing him later in the game.
He slows the pace down though,
Yeah,
and
that's
I
what I
think
mean. Like
Odegaard and Partey could do all the running for him.
if we get to a point where we have something to hold on to, i.e., a point or even a goal, a lead, then Jorginho could well come on to slow the pace of the game, and that's when you need your experienced heads to secure the points. So he could still play a role in that game, but I felt he should have had a start. I agree. I think it was a wrong choice. I think this Shevchenko treading into midfield for the teams that like to play a low block, like well, not necessarily that Southampton did, but what that really opens us up to is a ball out wide when Shevchenko's so far in the centre of the pitch. And Walcott against Gabriel, he I mean he took it well. It was a great finish, but Gabriel had no hope at all with that, and
Because
unfortunately,
Zinchenko was too busy in the midfield, wasn't
yeah,
he? Pressing
yeah.
the midfield again.
But yeah, I felt as a team, nerves got the better of us, and individual mistakes cost us that game.
Yeah.
Which is when you come into a title race, and the form we were in the run up to this City game. We before Liverpool, we were in fantastic form, and to draw against Liverpool is not a terrible result at Anfield, and we should have maintained a good positive form. But
no, the draw at Liverpool weren't so bad, especially the way we played on the day. We kind of scraped the point. I was lucky to get the point, but we've chucked the league, in my opinion, with the games against West Ham and Southampton.
See, the reason I won't say that, the reason I won't say that yet is that if we win on Wednesday, what's happened is irrelevant. It's another 6-point swing.
But really, let's be honest, we're asking the impossible. We've got to do the impossible.
I'm an optimistic fan and hopeful and wishful, and it's kind of almost what Arsenal would do, isn't it? Throw a couple of easy games and win one that we don't expect. I mean, it's.
We didn't look anywhere near their level though. The previous 2 times we played them this season. Let's be honest.
Not according to Theo Walcott. He seemed to think
and
something
based on what I've seen Friday, we are not at their level at all. If we play like that, we're talking.
The players know now that this is our cup final. This is, if you want to lift a trophy this season, you have to turn up on Wednesday. You have to put in your best performance. And historically for us, that hasn't necessarily resulted in 3 points. So let's try.
They've got the mentality for a big pressure game like this now.
Let's try. You've got nothing to lose and all to gain, if you see what I mean. I think City are probably favourites at this point. Like you said, I think a lot of the Arsenal fans probably believe that we have already thrown the league. But the eternal optimist in me still in there with a fight. It's never over till it's over. And the Premier League has had some real.
It's not over till it's over. It's just I think we're going to drop points.
But as I've said on previous of our shows, I don't think City will have a perfect run in.
No, but neither will we. That's the problem.
Hey, it's one of them. We've got something to fight for. The development of the club from Arteta joining to now. We're competing for one of the big 2 trophies that we have available to us every season, or 3 trophies, sorry, being the FA Cup as well, and hope next season will be the Champions League. So we want to fight for titles. It's a progressive step forward. But yeah,
realistically, if we don't win the league this year, Man United have had a better season than us.
Yeah, I you can't dispute that. I mean, football clubs, when you compare them, they line up their trophies. That's exactly what they do.
No one will remember second. I mean, I'm sure most of our fan base will celebrate second over trophy, but I'm not going to be.
No.
I've got my hopes up for a league title, and I want to see us win a league title.
So do I. And
Back 17 years or whatever it was, or whatever it is for this. Do you know what I mean?
But equally, what I don't want to see is beratement of the players after, you know, playing so many good games. Trying, you know, these players are not experienced winners.
I'm not berating them. I'm just disappointed because obviously I want to see us win, and it's looking like we're not going to now.
No, but like, you know, you said before the game, you know, when you look at players like Vinicius Junior, no one ever uses his age as an example. But the one thing I'd remind you,
Mbappe.
but the other thing I'd remind you about them players is you only have to look around them. Mbappe has Messi. You've got Vinicius that has Benzema, arguably one of the most, you know, decorated strikers to have played for Real Madrid. If you see what I mean, these are winners. You know, Luka Modric, Toni Kroos. They, you know, you go through these teams and they have.
Have we just brought in a winner in Jorginho?
Yeah, I mean,
World Cups, but Champions Leagues and all that. Like, come on.
Yeah, but Jorginho on his own isn't going to win you a game. Benzema, Messi, these players on their own can win you games because they are world class. Jorginho is a class player. He's a very good player, but he's not going to. Let's be honest. Never in his career is he going to take on three players and pop it in the top corner because he doesn't have the pace to do it now.
But he's got Saka.
Yeah,
Martinelli.
Yeah, and that's where we need to use them around. But we've got a lot of players that are very good players, but when it comes to the crunch, unfortunately, they've come up short in a couple of occasions now, and this needs to change. It's the mentality, it's the winning spirit that needs to change. And you know, when there was periods in the season that we won, you know, consecutive games back to back to back, and we looked phenomenal. So we can do it. We just need to turn it back on again. And
I hope they do. I hope they prove me wrong and we haven't bottled the league, but that's how it's feeling at the moment on Miserable Monday.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit doom and gloom today, and I'm sure there's a lot of sore Arsenal fans after receiving a fair old amount of banter at the weekend that we all did. But hey, you know, you've got to be in it to you've got to be in it to win it. So we are in it. We're there. We're the only team that's competing with it with City this season. So, you know, we've had a great season. We've had a good season, and I'd love to top it off with a trophy, but I won't be berating the club if we don't. In my personal opinion, it'll be a gutting. Yet we will have lost it in our own account, and we have given it to City if they do take it now. But you know, you can't always win everything, and City are a wonderful team with some excellent players, and yeah, they are absolutely firing on all cylinders at the moment. And to be honest, you know, it's when you look at the teams in England at the moment, and based on form and quality and everything else, I think, you know, we are a second place to City at the minute, but with a few more transfer windows, with a few extra players, with you know, hopefully a couple of extra winners in there, we could go again next season and see if we can, you know, mount another challenge for the league, as well as hopefully, you know, doing something in Europe and the FA Cup that we've won so many times. So, you know, there is processes, and if we did win it, you know, we would be the youngest team in this league and have won the trophy, and that would be phenomenal. It'd be something that we'd never shut up about. So, you know, remember that if we don't, we are the youngest team. So yeah, that's just my 2 pence on it. I'm devastated. I'm gutted.
All you're going to be saying at the end of the season is we're the youngest team to come second.
Yeah. You can almost see it, can't you? But
first of the losers.
But yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I've always said, you know, second place is first losers, and yeah, it's gutting that we're potentially handing it to City, but I think there's got to be an element of reality in there, and I think we are developing as a team. I'm really happy with, you know, Arteta, although I felt he made a mistake. You know, and the players to come from that you know, I almost thought it'd be harder to come back from like 2-1 down at home in that shaky situation. It's almost like bang, they turned it on and started to play. And why didn't you just do that from the first minute? But
Because halfway through the first minute, Ramsdale was giving away a goal.
I mean, that was the worst possible start to the game we could have asked for. And again, Ramsdale, it was catastrophic. He had 3 available passes, and he tried to thread it through the eye of the needle, and it didn't work. And yeah, it was his error. But let's be honest, he saved us a few more points than he's cost us this season, and that's what you expect from your goalkeeper. And unfortunately, as a goalkeeper, when you make a mistake, it inevitably ends up as a goal. And yeah, I'm gutted for him. You could see the devastation on his face when it happened. He knew it was all his fault. But equally, he made some good saves throughout the game later on. He didn't put his head down. He still carried on, and I'm a big fan of Ramsdale, and I think he's done a fantastic job since coming to us. And yeah, long may he continue, and get over it, mate. Move on. Have a great game on Wednesday, please, because we're going to need it. We are going to need a great game from Ramsdale.
Couldn't agree more, mate.
So yeah, have you seen? Obviously, yeah. There's some other news coming up with Arsenal at the moment. You were mentioning earlier.
Yeah. Well, there's some breaking news this morning, wasn't there? David Ornstein at the Athletic, he said that Maitland-Niles is going to be leaving in the summer. We're not going to be putting the option for another year on him, so they're going to let him go as a free agent.
Again, I agree with that.
Kind of the writing was on the wall with him, really, though, wasn't it? Let's be honest. But the more worrying news was about Saliba, who Ornstein is saying is out for at least the City and the Chelsea game, and there is increasing concern that his season could be over.
I mean, yeah, I don't want to sound too harsh on Rob Holding, but it's gonna
cost us the title.
And by all accounts, all the reports that come out about Rob Holding, he's a top spirit in the dressing room. He's a top guy to be around. He always welcomes new players, makes them feel at home because he sees Arsenal as his home. And as a character, I like him. Unfortunately, though, characters don't win you the league. It's quality. And I think that's a position that's clearly highlighted that we need to do something with next season, because Rob Holding, unfortunately, if we want to win trophies, if we have to rely on him in big games, I mean, if he starts on Wednesday, I will be watching the game from behind my sofa because I think Haaland will pull him to pieces.
I think he is going to be starting Wednesday. There's no one else, is there?
Well, I would like to see.
In the ideal world that Saliba had taken this injury, I think the more natural thing that Arteta would have done would have been to move Ben White there and stick Tomiyasu on the right. Unfortunately, Tomiyasu's out till the end of the season.
Or even Tomiyasu in the middle.
He's sort of literally left with only Holding.
But I've got this feeling that he's going to do something strange like Partey at right back. Something really out there. Put Ben White in the middle.
You could go 5 at the back, Ben White, Holding, and Saliba as centre backs. With you sacrifice Saka, play him in a right wing back. Then you have like Zinchenko or Tierney at the left back. But no, I don't think it'll be as close to his preferred 11 that we've seen all season, in my opinion. That he can field. Yeah. So Saliba guaranteed out. It's going to be Holding instead of him, and I think the other one is question mark whether Xhaka's back. If Xhaka's fit, because he was only ill for the Friday night game, so if he's back, then I think he'll start. But if he's still feeling a bit rough, then maybe he'll have to do something there. Hopefully, it's not Vieira again because he had a shocker, non-existent.
Yeah. Well, let's try and pick the podcast up a little bit. Obviously, in better news, there was a interesting game at the weekend involving Tottenham and Newcastle. I needed that. Thank you, Tottenham. Thank you. I needed picking up on it.
Lighten the mood a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you for having the biggest collapse of the weekend. It was. I just don't even know what to say. I mean, wow. I thought we started the game badly. I don't even know if that's a record. 5 goals, 20 minutes. That is just unbelievable and nothing short of embarrassing. I did take some pleasure in that, but yeah, United for them next. To be honest, if they want any chance of remaining in the Champions League next season, then they have no choice but to win that game. Um, Win that game and yeah, obviously, have a chance to still end up in top four. But after that performance, I think United fancy themselves in that game. So yeah, and obviously happy St Tottenham's Day. To add to that, a point was all we needed to ensure that this season. So yeah, but still
Again, it's
terrible.
nothing to celebrate. If
No,
if we don't win the title this season, in my opinion, is a failure.
yeah, I mean fair, but can I ask you, in all honesty, if I'd have told you that we would have been fighting for the title at the beginning of the season, would you take it?
Yeah, but
So you
once
got
it's,
I know we've
once
put ourselves in that
once
position.
it hit the new year, where we were sitting there, I thought, yeah, this is it. Do you know what I mean? I got my hopes up. This
What
is
it
why
is the
I'm
level
so
of belief
pissed
has
off
gone
about it.
gone through the roof, and yeah, I'm like I said, I think I had a conversation with you where I said if we end up within 3 points of City, winning or losing it, I think that's a fantastic season. And I'd like to compare ourselves to City going forward, if you see what I mean. That's the team you want to be fighting for, fighting with. So to be honest, I think it is a good bit of development for the team. Um, don't get me wrong, I'm still disappointed. I want to win a trophy, George. Of course I do. As much as every other Arsenal fan, I really want to win a trophy. But yeah, it's devastating to be in this position, and as everyone does keep reminding us, we've potentially snatched second after being, I think it's 27 weeks at the top of the, it's just terrible. But if someone would have told me it would have been 27 weeks at the top of the table this Premier League season, I'd have laughed at them before we started. So got to take it.
Doesn't matter if you're top from the first
No,
day
I know,
until the last
I
day, and
know.
then you chuck it on the last day. You still
But
chucked it.
with the Premier League, there's been some really exciting ends to it, and there's a lot of teams that are fighting for stuff. I.e., Southampton turned up with a hell of a performance at the Emirates on Friday night. There is going to be something there's going to be something that topple City. We may get toppled again. Who knows? But I just think that there is more to this. I don't think it's over. I think there is always a fighting chance, and that's what needs to be running around that dressing room. And if you want to win the league this season, you've got to go out there and win on Wednesday. And if you don't, just don't lose. Because if you lose, I think that's a 6 point swing the other way, and that we can't come back from. That will be when I will concede. I think that the season is over for us if we lose on Wednesday. So let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But yeah, obviously, what's your thoughts, George? Could we beat them? Can we win?
I hope they prove me wrong, but based on what I saw Friday night and obviously the previous two games and the way the mentality's gone with the players at the moment, I think we're going to get thrashing, mate. I can see them turning this over 5-0, to be honest with you. I
I
know
mean,
it's not good. It's not positive, is it? But
I
that's
mean,
just how I see it going, mate.
my thoughts are kind of similar to you. I don't
Hope
want
they prove me wrong. Hope
I
they
don't
prove
want to
me
beat
wrong.
him. If we can get a draw, I'll take it. If we do the unthinkable and get a win, I think we go back to being favourites for the Premier League. So, Arsenal players, it's all in your court. You beat City, you're back to favourites to win the league. So that's your cup final. That's your game of the season. That's your pinnacle. And it's another chance for us to turn up in a big game and hopefully provide the win that we need. But as you know, I'm always an optimistic Arsenal fan. I mean, before the Southampton game, I gave a prediction of 3 or 4, 1 or 0, didn't I? So couldn't have been
I said
much.
3-1.
Yeah, couldn't
I
have been
went
much
the wrong
further
way.
wrong. But yeah, it's one of them. It's football, and you just never know what's going to happen on the night. And I know City at the Etihad with Erling Haaland is a scary, scary thought, but it's not over until it's over. And I remain quietly optimistic that we can get something from this game. And I don't think City, as I've said many times before, will win every game to the end of the season. So it's still there to be won.
Hopefully, but
Yeah.
it's looking doubtful. That's all
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah. Anything else you got to add, George?
No, that's me, mate. I think
Yeah.
this, yeah.
All right. Well, thank
Just
you all, guys. Thank you
fingers
everyone
crossed
for
for
listening.
Wednesday, but it's not looking good, is it? Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, thanks everybody for listening. I think we're planning to do a pre-game show on Wednesday where we'll do predictions. We'll probably do an aftermatch on Wednesday as well, as it is our cup final this season. We'll do a post-match game show and give you our thoughts and opinions, and hopefully we'll be bouncing around celebrating a solid win. But hey,
I
we'll
will
wait to
bounce
see.
around if we win, but can't see it.
Yeah. Well, but yeah, thank you everyone for listening. Please like and subscribe, and we will see you Wednesday. Thank you.